How precious is our time? Uh, Undoubtedly, time cannot be returned in any way. At least the way to reverse it is currently unknown. Therefore, having an understanding uh, that time is slipping away, we love to spend it for our own good, doing what brings us satisfaction and joy without thinking about future prospects. Be that as it may, such an approach will sooner or later cease to be beneficial, and moreover, it can be harmful. A striking example of this is the passion for computer games, which can lead to negative consequences for both physical and psychological health. And why not spend this time for the benefit of the society? After all, such changes not only bring positive effects for society, but also give an invaluable life experience for yourself. I asked this question myself about 3 years ago when I got tired of playing Minecraft. It was then when I decided for myself that it was worth getting out of my comfort zone and trying something new. This was one of the deciding factors that prompted me to join the youth volunteer organization called Adzal Volunteer Club, of which I'm a member to this day. And I think many consider the only benefit of volunteering to get certificates and letters of recommendation. And yes, they can help you in admission to educational institutions. And I cannot but agree that this attracts students to join the ranks of volunteers. However, during the process, you will realize the whole essence of this voluntary activity. Here's an example of one of the projects I've worked on, which is called International Education Fair. It was an online event organized by the Bolashak Development Fund this spring. And its meaning was so that people interested or wishing to enter a higher educational institution abroad had the opportunity to talk with representatives of universities or colleges, also listen to their presentations and ask all of their questions. The volunteers in turn had to perform the role of translators from English into Russian and vice versa for the visitors of the exhibition, and also manage the presentation and the conference itself. At first glance, the task seemed quite easy to me, but when there was a large flow of people, it was extremely difficult to simultaneously translate information and monitor the incoming visitors as well as their presentations. And also, nevertheless, despite all of the difficulties, I understood that I was helping students. I was helping future students, and this understanding gave me energy, motivation, and moved me forward. And in addition, this project also provided a large baggage of knowledge about cultures of different countries through communication with foreigners. And I also made new wonderful friends. This was because work and common purpose make people feel more confident in themselves and make them closer to each other. These factors unmask them, revealing their true identity and creating a chance to forge strong relationships. And it can be concluded that participating in such kind of events, you can receive many things and gain many prospects from it. At first, in more detail, it will give you the opportunity to become more self-confident. Also, you will become more you will understand more about your weaknesses and strengths. And also, you will gain experience. The second event I would like to talk about now was the Winter Charity event, which I decided to organize myself in connection with the current situation with the coronavirus pandemic and quarantine. Many people have lost their jobs and were in dire financial straits due to the crisis. And I thought it would be a good idea to collect things and groceries to take to families in need. And when enough items were collected, a team of volunteers and I sorted them out and then handed them over to the families. Seeing the joy on their faces, I myself began to feel grateful that I had such an opportunity to make people happier. And I realized that not everyone has an easy life. And this made me think about whether it's necessary to continue this project. And I decided to do so. So I have a request for you. Remember how you yourself feel when you give gifts to your family members, friends, those you love. I am sure that something like satisfaction is filling you in these moments. And the same situation occurs in volunteering. By doing things for society, you're also becoming more happier yourself. And as a nice bonus, you also develop reflexive thinking and moral qualities. And the last activity in order, but not the least important, was helping the music teacher, who at the time was Miss Crossing, with the orchestra of the elementary school students. The main goal of orchestra is synchronous playing, where each instrument plays its own role, forming the overall picture of the piece of music. And my goal was to teach all of this to children. Then it seemed to me that this was impossible. When I explained to one child how to play his part, and he started to play it correctly, I moved on to another. However, by the time I explained to the second child, and he started to play it correctly too, the first was already forgetting what I told him before. And this was constantly repeated, and even my musical education and experience couldn't do anything about it. And nevertheless, even though I'm not the best teacher, I realized how difficult it really is to be a teacher, because they have to manage a large number of students on a daily basis. And for each, you need to try an individual approach, since each person receives information in his own way. And by taking part in this type of volunteering, you're not just teaching yourself, teaching children, you're also teaching yourself patience, critical thinking, patience, critical thinking, and you're also becoming more mindful about your actions. Our time is precious, and using it to volunteer can make us better versions of ourselves, because it gives us the opportunity to learn new things through experience. Each of the stories reflects different types of volunteering, and each has its own conclusion, but they all have something the same. And this same thing is that they all each situation gives you something new. It makes you think, rethink something, and I'm sure that this is what drives us forward. Thank you.